Jalen and Jacoby is presented by Samuel Adams.
He is Jalen Rose. I am David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do?
We give the people what they want.
Jalen Rose. Later on, during this very program, we will be joined by none other than the Podfather, the man who greenlit this show, Bill Simmons. But we start with the World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers. It was in the 6th inning when Blake Snell had only thrown 73 pitches and he was pulled by Kevin Cash. In the moment, I thought it was the wrong decision and it played out to be exactly that. Jalen, when you saw him get pulled from the game, what were your feelings?
It's funny, their manager's last name actually is what it is, because last night he managed on credit, not on cash. Okay, it's right in front of you. Snell is pitching a gem, Jacoby, and I know he hasn't done over 6 innings this season, and I know that he has been a Cy Young winner, but this is a great moment, and all of a sudden, when you're the Rays, you got to get something special to happen if you're going to upset the Dodgers, who have more talent, who are the favorite. And he's on the mound pitching a gem, and all of a sudden he gives up 1 hit to the 9-hole hitter, and you come take him out of the game? That you're supposed to go to the mound and make sure he's good. The top of the lineup is coming back up, Jacoby, with the 3 top hitters who he struck out 6 times already. 6 times. He's striking those guys out. He has 9 total strikeouts. You do not take him out of the game. As soon as he does, you put in Anderson, boom. Mookie takes advantage immediately.
And it's not just taking him out, it's, as you mentioned, putting in Anderson, who has given up a run in 6 straight appearances. And that was the case last night as well. Mookie Betts also added an insurance home run in the late innings to give the Dodgers the victory. They made a big investment in Mookie Betts, and that bet paid off last night. Jalen, how do you feel about your guy, Mookie Betts?
Why didn't he win MVP? Right? I don't understand why he didn't win MVP. And I don't want to be this guy having that conversation right now, but he's the 5-2 guy I saw snagging home runs, stealing timely bases, hitting doubles, hitting home runs, inspiring his team. Like, he was the MVP of this series. Not to take anything away from Seager. I know that Kershaw gave him 11 innings, but that's their MVP right there, Mookie Betts.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Kershaw, because Kershaw has been, this monkey has been on his back. He has the reputation of being a great regular season pitcher, but can't put it together in the postseason. His 2 starts led to 2 wins for the Dodgers in this World Series. Do you think that monkey is finally off his back with this World Series win?
It is, because what ends up happening is people start to look back at his journey, and before they could say he's a 3-time Cy Young winner, the only one that doesn't have a ring. Now he goes into the category of one of the all-time greats, which is when people start talking about the greatest pitchers of all time, he's now elevated himself with that ring in a lot of people's mind in that conversation. But I want to press pause just a little bit. Yes, it does eliminate that monkey off of his back. However, they didn't need him to be that quote-unquote throwback dominant type of ace to go out there and pitch 8 innings, to pitch 9 innings, to strike out 10, to perform in a Game 7, or to perform even in the closeout game for the Dodgers. So I am happy to see him get a championship, but as we start talking about all-time great pitchers, there will be people like myself that have to acknowledge those points.
Well, this World Series championship was very 2020. It came after a shortened 60-game regular season. It was played in a bubble, and Justin Turner, the third baseman of the Dodgers, was pulled from the game mid-game because results from a COVID test came back positive. And then after the game, he came back onto the field with a positive test to celebrate with teammates, even removing his mask for pictures. Jalen, what happened?
So this was irresponsible by Turner. I know he's been on the Dodgers longer than anybody else. And I know he's hometown, and I know he's going to be a free agent, Jacoby, and I know winning the World Series for your hometown team is something extra special. But COVID-19 is not anything for us to be joking or playing with, considering almost 300,000 Americans have lost their lives based on the fact that they've contracted coronavirus. So now, once you understand that he fails the test and is removed in the game from the 8th inning, it makes me ask the question, so did he get tested every inning? Did they find this out in the 2nd inning? Did they find this out before the game? Oh, so when he does leave the game, is MLB's power structure has to be present because the World Series is being decided, which means they have to separate church from state and say, hey, we're going to keep everybody safe and now immediately quarantine him like the Wisconsin football team is doing with their quarterback. But no, they win the World Series, he celebrates with the team, and that becomes something that makes me so mad as somebody that's walking around with a mask on that's putting bumps on my face. That now becomes a super spreader event. That's what that becomes, Jacoby, and it disappoints me seeing so many people still walking around disregarding the current and the lingering effects of the coronavirus. This is real. As long as you woke up today wearing a mask, things are not normal.
I'm going to move our attention to college football. I'm glad you brought up college football because we have what could become a big story, and these are the words that came out of number 1 pick Trevor Lawrence's mouth. Let's listen to the Clemson quarterback.
We'll just have to see how things unfold. I think there's a lot of factors in that, but honestly, just really, I leave or stay, whatever. Obviously, I have the option to do either one. Kind of my mindset's been that I'm going to move on, but who knows? There's a lot of things that could happen.
Interesting. Now, I've said that he is the best quarterback prospect that I've ever seen in my entire life. The best athletic prospect I've ever seen since LeBron James. And he's saying, maybe I won't go to the draft. Jalen, do you think this is a real threat to stay in Clemson?
I now have a real threat, Jacoby. I was trying to figure what style I might do next without forcing one. And if I could have hair like anybody, it would be like Trevor Lawrence. Put his picture back up there, Tommy. Or whoever's producing the show today. Jill, whoever's producing the show today. Put him back up there. Oh, Tony is my guy. Look at his hair, yes. Jacoby. You see that? Can you imagine me with that down to my shoulders with the straightening iron? Like, Jalen, that might be next, fam.
I think your hair is great as it is, but talking about Trevor Lawrence, a lot of people are just putting this to the Jets. Oh, he doesn't want to play for the Jets. The Jets are one of many teams that are terrible at football in the NFL. It's not a lock that the Jets are going to go 0-16. They were threatening against the Bills in the first half. There are tons of teams that could get the number 1 pick, so I don't want to make this story about the Jets, but it is interesting that he's saying he could stay in college because I think it does matter who the number 1 pick is going to be. That will influence that decision. However, I do not think Trevor Lawrence will stay in college. There's just too much money waiting for him to play on Sunday.
I'm not going to be able to do it.
Jalen, we have some news about the Detroit Lions. The 3-3 Detroit Lions. They have traded for the Cowboys defensive end Everson Griffin. Now, the fact that they would trade Everson Griffin to the Lions for a conditional 6th round pick tells you what about where the Cowboys' heads are right now?
So this is when an organization, Jacoby, walks into the locker room blindfolded after the owner gets upset at a media member for questioning the leadership in the locker room, puts a blindfold over his eyes, and just sprays through the locker room to try to make an example out of one person. And it's like, okay, so do y'all see what we did to Everson? We got him out of here. You could be next. You think you don't understand wearing that Dallas Cowboys star is a privilege? We'll get you up out of here. But you know what they ain't doing? Getting rid of the guys that they paid top dollar that should be performing as not, like Lawrence, like Jalen Smith on defense, like Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott. You know what he did when he saw their lockers? He just walked right by. How y'all doing? What's up, fellas? Because those was his decisions. And so now he's trying to own it by pointing blame, but it ain't nobody to blame, Jerry, but yourself.
You know what the wildest thing about this story is? Griffin got traded from the Cowboys to the Lions, and he actually ends up on a better team in Detroit than in Dallas. Think about that. There are very few times in the history of the National Football League in which that is true. And right now, I want you to congratulate you. Enjoy being 500 right now because we both know it is not going to last. We have Bill Simmons joining us right after the break. Make sure you stay tuned. You're going to want to see that. Coming to you live from Pier 17 in the South Street Seaport District of Manhattan and brought to you by Chase. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. It is a very special day here on Jalen and Jacoby because we have the man who made this show happen. The Podfather, Bill Simmons, joins the program. Thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy and very rich schedule to join us on this program.
I had to invite myself, to be fair, because you guys just forgot about me.
You're here every day. You here every day. You here every day on the wall, my brother. You know that.
Yes, you did have to invite yourself on the program.
I could be dead and be on the wall. What does that do?
Bill, I want to get inside your head because I know the complicated emotions that you have towards a gentleman named Tom Brady. What does it feel like to watch your Patriots be terrible and watch Tom Brady flourish in Tampa Bay with Gronkowski and the Buccaneers?
It's been very spiteful. I'm hurt. I feel like it's my first wife who left me and then just got in incredible shape and married somebody who's cuter than I am. And I got to say, the only way I've been able to deal with it is just betting on the Buccaneers. Because then I fight off the resentment and then I have something at stake. The thing for me is I love Gronk. Gronk is my favorite Patriot of all time. So to see Gronk rejuvenated and see me more like the 2015 Gronk has made it more palatable to me. The other thing is the Patriots are so bad. You look at Brady now, and it's a little like LeBron. I remember Jalen and I did the finals in 2014 together, and we were kind of looking at each other going, wow, Miami's not good. This team, this is the arrow's pointing down. And LeBron sensed it because he's a genius. He goes back to Cleveland, tried to pretend it was a whole, I just want to go home and I want to finish my career in Cleveland. We know he didn't. He was just going there. It was a better chance to win a title. And for Brady, I just think he surveyed it like a genius and said, this is my best chance to go here and have these receivers. And I want to win my 7th title. So I'm still like deep down hurt, but I can't I can't root against him.
So Bill, you're a sports aficionado and you're a basketball historian. And I know when LeBron James won his 4th championship and his 4th finals MVP, he started to move on a lot of people's different lists. Where does your current top handful of players of all time now stand?
Well, I've adjusted a little. I have a Mount Goatmore because I think it's so hard to compare the guys against theirs. I still have Jordan as the best player I've ever seen. But I do think you can look at it generationally and you think like Russell's the best guy of the first 25 years. Kareem's the best guy of the next 15 years. MJ's the best guy of the next 20 years, and then LeBron. And if you think about it that way, each guy dominated their era. I still feel like Jordan going 6-0 in the finals and just the peak that he hit where it just seemed like no matter who was on his team, who he was playing, he could beat anybody. The Last Dance kind of cemented that. But if LeBron's going to play until he's 42, 43, I mean, Jalen, you couldn't even play till you were 33. When did you retire? How old were you?
And you always retired 2 years before the league retired you. So it let me go at 34, but I was really done at like 31.
Right. The 2007 Suns, when they had the suspensions, James was like, hey, I'm right here.
Still didn't play. Little known fact, Bill Simmons more reliable from 15 feet than Jalen Rose. I've played with both of these human beings, and if I needed one person to hit one 15-footer, I'm giving it to Bill on the right side baseline over anything Jalen Rose from 15 feet now. And that is a fact. I would say that on wax, and I stand by it. Now, Bill, I made a mistake.
I love playing pickup basketball with both of you guys. Jalen, no matter what kind of shape he was in, could still do the back down a dude and just keep going left hand, right hand until he was next to the basket for a layup. And you're like, oh yeah, this guy's 6'8" and made $140 million playing basketball. Yeah, this is wild.
Pretty good at basketball, that guy.
The last time an MVP back-to-back regular season-wise that left a team was LeBron James. And it's funny you brought up the conversation that we had when we looked at the Heat roster. Giannis Antetokounmpo is now entering that scenario, in my opinion, if they don't meet expectations. I believe if the Milwaukee Bucks don't make it to the finals and or win a championship, he may end up elsewhere, in particular Miami. What do you think happens to Giannis as the time passes?
Well, we're going to know, right, in the next month, because he could sign the Supermax. And if he's like, hey, can we wait on that? Can we wait a year? Then he's leaving. If he's staying, he's signing the Supermax. I assume he's leaving, or at least keeping his options open, because the thing for me is Durant tore his Achilles, which is probably the worst injury you can have as a basketball player, and still signed a max deal a couple months later. So Giannis, barring like an absolutely huge tragedy, no matter what happens to him next season, he's still getting the max. You know, he's getting a lot of money, and he can pick where he wants to live. And if he wants to go Dallas or Miami, no state taxes, get a little more from there. If I were him, I would go with Luka Doncic, because I think Luka is going to be the next guy. To me, it's a no-brainer. I'm getting to Dallas. I am hitching my kite to Luka's right leg, much like Jacoby and I always joke. Jalen always has a way of like, who's on the rise? I'm grabbing on. Oh, Maria Taylor, don't leave without me.
You got to catch the wave.
Yeah, and I think Giannis is looking at Luka like, hey man, if it's me and him, we're winning titles. We're not winning the title, we're winning titles. We're winning 4 to 5 titles. I think Luka's the next. I don't know if you guys agree, but I think he has a chance to be one of the best 6 or 7 players ever. He's already the best 21-year-old player ever, and you look at his stats, and it's like, if he can shoot 45% from 3 5 years from now, this is a guy who could be like 35, 10, and 10 every night. So if I'm Giannis, I'm going there and I'm waiting.
Bill, you know my favorite number is 5. It's my lucky number. You guys had a 5-tool player for the Red Sox. His name is Mookie.
Why?
You're now in Los Angeles. I have to ask you, just my professional obligation, how are you dealing with this?
It's horrible. And it's the most indefensible trade any Boston team has made since I've been alive. He was the best Red Sox position player we've ever had. Everybody loved him. He was hitting his prime. He does everything great. And the most frustrating thing for me are all the Dodger fans in my life who's like, oh, man, I didn't know Mookie could do this. I didn't know this. And you see like that last series where every game he does 2 things that aren't just like, I hit a line drive into the gap. Like, he'll make some throw. He'll make some catch. He'll turn some single into a double. He'll steal a base. He's honestly the best position guy I've ever watched day to day. And I think that's what makes him special is every single day he figures out some different way to play a baseball game. So to watch him come here and to, you know, as I'm power walking LA, trying not to lose my mind and seeing like Mookie Betts t-shirt jerseys and stuff, it really hurts. It's way worse than the Brady thing. And not to mention in 2020, you know, he's I would say the signature black athlete in baseball. And I think somebody who could have been really important in Boston. And they're like, cool, let's trade him for 4 guys. It's all of it is just devastating. It's made me like baseball less. Honestly, I watched less baseball this year than I've ever watched in my life. And I don't know if it comes back. I got my 4 World Series rings. They traded my favorite guy. And I don't know. I'm taking it year by year now.
Bill, we always have to say that how much we appreciate what you've done for us in this show early on, giving us a shot and letting us do whatever we wanted. Now here we are over 9 years later, still on TV.
I love you, my brother. Forever grateful for your influence. And looking forward to catching up soon and breaking bread, having some adult beverages.
Yeah, post-pandemic hang. Let's do it.
Let's get it. Big Ten football is back. Number 3, Ohio State and Justin Fields head into State College to play the number 18 Penn State Nittany Lions. That's on ABC at 7:30 on Saturday. Welcome back to Jalen Jacoby, your source for all of the extremely important news in sports and pop culture. It is time for News That Matters. Kim Kardashian held a 40th birthday party on a private island and fell victim to a lot of criticism on social media, but that's not what matters. What matters is this. The Phoenix Suns' Devin Booker was in attendance. Jalen, can the Kardashian-Jenner Association take down Devin Booker as it has so many athletes in the past?
You know the Kardashian-Jenner family has the best scouting department in sports and entertainment. But I'm rooting for D-Book, so I feel and I hope that he's the guy to break the curse.
I love Devin Booker so much. He is immune to the Kardashian curse. I want to thank Bill Simmons for coming by. We will be back tomorrow on ESPN at 2 p.m.
Thank you. You are far too kind.